Hello students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will continue with the part 4 of this chapter, refraction through lens. And in this lecture what we are going to learn? We are going to learn the most important thing of this chapter. We are going to learn the formation of image. In today's lecture we are going to confine ourselves to the formation of image by only convex lens. So formation of image by convex lens. Okay, if you have forgotten what is convex lens, this is the convex lens. Okay, this is the convex lens where this is the optical center. So before we study the ray diagrams, we have to study the basics how the rays are getting formed. So to study the basics, we have to learn three rules. We have to learn the three rules for today. The first rule is that if the ray passes through the optical center, okay, or the incident ray is towards the optical center, when the ray is incident towards the optical center. So this is the first rule. Now first rule is very easy, okay? First rule is very easy. First you take a principal axis, you have to draw a convex lens. Suppose this is the optical center, and what you have to do? You have to see a ray is incident towards the optical center. So this ray is incident towards the optical center. Okay. Now what will happen? The ray which is incident towards the optical center will pass undeviated. Will pass undeviated means it will not get refracted. So it will pass straight. So it will come and pass straight as it is. So it is quite easy to understand the first rule. I hope there is no problem in understanding the first rule. Now over there I'm just explaining. This is a convex lens. In a convex lens we have two focus. So suppose I take this as the one focus and this as the second focus. Now which one is f1, which one is f2 for a convex lens? It is very, very important. And I think I have explained in the previous lectures where is f1 and where is f2. The f1 is over here and f2 is over here. So f1 is on the left hand side and f2 is on the right hand side. You have to memorize this thing for the exam. Which side is the first focus and which side is the second focus. And also I'm saying over here only that when we say focus, okay, we generally mean f2. We generally mean this focus. Okay, we do not, when we normally say, okay, that the ray is passing through the focus, if it is not mentioned first focus or second focus, then it means that the ray is passing through the second focus. So when you say we use the word focus, it means the second focus. Remember this, it will be useful for the upcoming ray diagrams or in the upcoming videos. Just remember this focus is always, when we normally say focus, we always mean or mention the second focus. Now, as we know these things, now the second rule. The second rule says what? When a ray passes through the second focus, okay, the rule says when the ray is parallel to the principal axis, when a ray is parallel to the principal axis, it passes through the second focus, f2. Okay, f2. Now let's draw a diagram and understand the second rule of it. You have to learn the three rules, or basically to understand the three rules. So you have to draw a principal axis, you take the optical center, you draw the convex lens, and secondly you have to take the two focuses f1 and f2, and this is the optical center. Now what does it says? A ray which is parallel to the principal axis. A ray parallel to the principal axis means what? The incident ray. The ray which is incident like this. The ray which is incident to the principal axis. You can see, the ray is parallel to the principal axis. This ray which is the incident ray, it is parallel to the principal axis. What happens? After refraction, after over here it will get refracted, it will pass through the second focus. How is that? We know this is a convex lens, and convex lens has a property to converge. So if it converges, so the ray will get converged and it will pass through the second focus like this. Okay, so a ray which is parallel to the principal axis after refraction, okay, just add over here, after refraction passes through the second focus. So this is the ray diagram. I hope you understand the second rule of it. Okay, second rule means what? Parallel, then passes through the second focus. And now the third rule. The third rule says what? The third rule says a ray passing through F1, a ray which is passing through F1 after refraction becomes parallel to the principal axis. This is the third rule, which is also very important. Okay, so how is the ray diagram will be? Let's see what it says. So this is F1 and F2. When you will be drawing the ray diagrams for the exam, make sure you use a scale that this distance, suppose this is 5 centimeter, this also has to be 5 centimeter. Over here I am just drawing in the rough diagram, I am just drawing. In my diagram, this distance and this distance is not equal. I am just taking a rough distance, but for your in the exam purpose, you have to take the exact distances. Use the scale. Now what will happen over here? As per the rule, a ray passing through the F1. So you take a ray which is passing through F1, something like this way. A ray which is passing through F1, you can see a ray passing through F1. Now what happens after the refraction? After refraction becomes parallel to the principal axis. You see, it will become parallel to the principal axis, as you can see. So what do you see over here? This ray which is the incident ray, how it is? If you look at it very, very closely, this ray which is incident, it is a diverging ray. You see the diverging ray, and the diverging ray will be converged by this convex lens, because convex lens has the property to converge. So it will be converged. So it won't converge like this. So after the convergence, it will become parallel to the principal axis, which I already mentioned in the second lecture. In the video number 2, last 10 minutes, this I have already done over there. And I also told you to see that video. That video, last 10 minutes of the second video, is very important to understand these things. Now this is the third rule. I think these three rules you happen to understand what these rules are about. We also have some rules for the concave, but the concave lens and the ray diagrams, we are keeping it for another day. right now we are only concentrating on the convex lens. So I hope the three rules of the convex lens is understandable what is happening. Okay, this one and the previous and the optical center is quite easy. It will pass undeviated. Now after the three rules, then we have to do the ray diagrams. Now we have to take a general idea that how the ray diagram will look like. To get a general idea, we will draw the suppose I think it happens to fit over here. Suppose I take a convex lens, I take another convex lens, I take another convex lens. So we have taken the three convex lens. Now see what I will do in this three diagrams to make you understand what we are going to practice, but you have to get the idea that what we are going to do in this ray diagrams. Firstly, we take a object. We take a object. Firstly, if we take an object over here, okay. Secondly, in the second ray diagram also we take the object over here, and the third ray diagram also we take the object in the same place. Now see what will happen over here. The first one, I will take the 2 points, optical center and F2. In the second one, I will take the 2 points, optical center and F1. And in the third ray diagram, I will take the 3, optical center, F1 as well as F2. Optical center, F1 as well as F2. So we will take the 3 ray diagrams and try to understand the ray diagrams that will be forming over here. As I told you, I will take the first point, optical center. Means what? I need a ray that has to pass through the optical center. All the ray will emerge from the head of the object. So how it will happen? See, it will happen like this. The ray will pass through the optical center just like this, because it will pass undeviated, we know. And secondly, what we need to do? We need to take the ray which is passing through F2. So if I take a ray which is passing through F2, what will happen? The ray, I think I told you that is the second rule. If the ray has to pass through F2, then the ray should be parallel to the principal axis. That was the second rule. Just 5 minutes ago I taught you. So this ray has to be parallel to the principal axis, and after it is parallel to the principal axis, after refraction it will pass through F2 like this. Okay, something like this. And okay, my diagrams are not very straight lines, okay, because I'm doing freehand, but of course you have to do it with a scale and you will get the perfect the straight rays, okay. I'm just using free hands to make you understand. So okay, I think I'll get now where is the object is formed, where is the image is formed? Image is formed at this point where the two rays happens to coincide, and this ray and the image is formed over here. So this is the object, this is the image. Secondly, I will use the same object at the same place, but now I will use the 2 points, optical center and F1, not F2. Optical center and F1. So how will the ray happen? The ray will first pass through the optical center just like this. The ray will pass through the optical center just like this. Second is what? The ray has to pass through F1. Now how the ray will pass through F1? I'll just extend my lens a little bigger because I think I need to do that. I just extend my lens. Now see, if the ray has to pass through F1, so I'll take a ray and it has to pass through F1. It will pass through F1 like this. And now what will you get? Now the ray which passes through F1, what I told you the third rule. Third rule says what? If the ray happens to pass through F1, it will become parallel to the principal axis. So it will become parallel to the principal axis. So this is the point where the two rays meet, and this is the point where the image will be formed. So image is formed over here. If you take exact distances and scale and everything, this image will be forming over here, like the same place. But since this is a rough diagram, it is not coming in the exact places. But in my notes, if you have got it in the notes, these diagrams are being drawn, and you can see both the diagrams comes in the same place. Now in the third picture, what I will do, I will use all the 3 points. The first point is what? The ray, it passes through the optical center. The ray happens to pass through the optical center like this. Okay, the rays are not coming. The ray is passing through the optical center. And how it is passing? It is passing undeviated, you can see. The second is what? I want F1. The ray will pass through F1 like this. The ray will pass through F1 like this. And we know, if the ray passes through F1, it will become parallel to the principal axis. It will become parallel to the principal axis. And third, I will use F2. The ray which has to pass through F2 initially has to become parallel to the principal axis. So if it is parallel to the principal axis, then it will pass definitely through F2. Okay, then it will pass through F2. Let's take the point like something like this. Now you can see all the rays happens to converge at a particular point. This is the point, and this is the point where my image is getting formed. My ray diagrams are not accurate, okay? You can see the book or my notes, and over there it is very much accurately drawn, but because I'm doing it rough hand, and the board is very slippery, that's why I'm not getting the straight lines. But just do it by yourself, you will get the straight lines. But just you need to get the idea. Idea of what? Idea about a ray passing to the optical center. The ray has to pass to the optical center, it will pass undeviated. Second idea is what? A ray has to pass through if the ray passes to the first focus, then it becomes parallel to the principal axis. Third idea is what? A ray which is passing, if it has to pass through F2, then initially it has to be parallel to the principal axis. So if it is parallel to the principal axis, then it passes through F2. So you have to get these 3 ideas to do the ray diagrams. That will be all the 7 ray diagrams which are there afterwards. So I hope you understood these 3 ray diagrams. Now, after this, we have to do all the 7 characteristics. All the 7 ray diagrams. I want to see how much is the time. 19 minutes. So in this video, probably all the 7 diagrams I might not be able to do it. So it might take 2 videos, but take the idea about at least the first 3 ray diagrams. First one is what? I take a convex lens. And the second also I do it same way. I take a convex lens. This is F1 and this is F2. This is F1 and this is f2. So these are the two cases I am taking. The first case is what? The first case is what? The object is at infinity. The object is at infinity. And the second case is what? The object is at far distance. The object is at far distance. So these are the two cases I am taking. Now, firstly, you have to understand this infinity and far distance are not the same thing. Infinity means it is coming from space, like the moon or the other planets or the sun. Far distance means it is coming from like 100-meter distance or 200-meter distance. So far distance and infinity are two different things. So let's take the first scenario. If the rays are coming from infinity, then the rays which are incident, if it is the rays are coming from infinity, then the rays are parallel to the principal axis. Okay, if the rays are coming from infinity, the rays are parallel to the principal axis. So the rays are parallel to the principal axis. The rays are parallel to the principal axis. You can see. And we know what will happen. If the rays are parallel to the principal axis, what will happen? They will converge, because this is a concave mirror and concave mirror has a property of converging. So the rays will converge. And how it will converge? Remember, what is the second rule was saying? Second rule, if the rays are parallel to the principal axis, then after refraction it will be passing through F2. So the rays will pass through F2. The rays will pass through F2 like this. So this is the point. So I hope you understood this point. The rays which are coming from infinity will be parallel to the principal axis. After refraction it will pass through F2. Now, what are the characteristics that we get over here? So let me draw the ray diagram, then I will study the characteristics. Now, object is at far distance. Now, when the object is at far distance, how I will approach? One ray will come and it will be incident at the optical center. And the second ray which comes, the second ray also comes, but it passes through the first focus. It passes through the first focus. Okay, so these are the two rays. Now, what are the output rays? What are the output rays that you have to see? This ray, the ray which is incident at the optical center. What we know, the first rule says what? The ray will pass undeviated. So the ray will pass undeviated, something like this. And this, the second ray which is passing through F1. What we know about this ray? Remember the third rule. Third rule says what? If the ray passes through F1, it will become parallel to the principal axis. So it will become parallel to the principal axis. The rays are not exactly parallel, okay, because I am doing freehand, again I am saying, but you try to understand. Now, where is the object is getting formed? The object is getting formed at over here. The object will get formed over here at F2. Sorry, the image will get formed at F2. Okay. Now, what are the things, the characteristics that we know about this? The first characteristic that we come to know about over here. This image which is formed, this image is formed by actual rays. If it is formed by actual rays, it will be a real image. Similarly over here, this the image which is formed, it is formed by actual intersection of rays. If it is formed by actual intersection of rays, it is also a real image. Second thing, all the real images are inverted in nature, You can see over here, the arrow is downward, okay? All the real images are inverted. You have learned this in your mirror chapter also. Third, what we know about the third point. Third point, we know this image size, it is diminished. It is diminished means it is very small. Diminished, I can say diminished to a point. Diminished to a point. Over here, you can say also it is diminished, or I will use the word highly diminished. Okay, highly diminished. And fourth point, where is the image is getting formed? In both the diagrams, you can see the image is getting formed at the focus. So image is getting formed at the focus. And I think I told you, when we say focus, only when we mean focus, we generally express the second focus. We generally express the second focus. So where is the image is getting formed? The image is getting formed at the second focus, right? But you have to add one more thing. Second focus, after that, on the other side of object. So object is on the left hand side and image is getting formed on the right hand side. So that is why the image is getting formed on the second focus on the other side. Over there also, on the other side, of the object. Okay, you can write add it. I don't have a space, on the other side of the object. So these are the first two ray diagrams. Now, where this is used, basically this uses, I can say, it is used in the burning glass. This is used, both the ray diagrams over here, I can say it is used in the burning glass. It is used in the burning glass. I think you know what is burning glass cells. Means what? You take the lens and put it under the sun. On the opposite side, you put a paper. What will happen? All the sun's rays will get converged to a single point. And at that point, the temperature is so high that the paper is going to burn. So that is why we say it is a burning glass, means a glass which is used to burn papers. So burning glass means what? A glass that is used to burn papers. So for both it is used. So I hope you understood the first two ray diagrams. Next two ray diagrams. Let me see the time. Okay. Next ray diagram. We are going to see the third ray diagram. That is, the object is placed beyond the 2f2. Okay. So object is beyond 2f2. Object is beyond 2f2. I can use like this: u is greater than 2f. Means what? I'll explain you this part. U is greater than 2f. What does that mean? Because certain explanations are only done, can be understood by diagrams. So let me see. This is the again the convex lens. This is my first focus and this is the second focus. Now you have to take note of a point, that when we were doing the mirror chapter, suppose this is a concave mirror and this is the focus. After the focus, didn't we had the center of curvature? Like that way, on if you take this and that if this distance is x, again if at the same distance of x from here to here, we had the center of curvature. So if this distance is x, we take the another distance x from this side and it becomes what? The center of curvature. Okay, center of curvature of this surface, actually of this surface. And on the other side also we do the same thing. We take the center of curvature C2 of this surface of the mirror. But generally what happens is that we don't express that as center of curvature, we express that as twice the length of this focal length. So if this focal length is then x, this will be what? 2x. So this is as f1, this will be what? 2f1. Okay, this center of curvature, which is previously I told as c1, this is nothing but twice of f1. So if this is f1, this distance becomes twice f1. Similarly on the other side, if this is f2, then this distance becomes what? Twice of f2. So instead of writing c2, I'll write what? Twice of f2, which generally means the second center of curvature for this surface, okay? So I hope you understood the 2f1 and 2f2 concept. Means what? This 2f1 and 2f2 represents the center of curvatures for this surface and this surface. But in the chapter of lengths, we do not express that as center of curvature. We represent that as twice f1 or twice f2. Now I coming over here. Where is the object? Object is beyond 2f2. So I keep this as my object. Object is over here. Suppose I keep this as my object. Now object is beyond, this will be object is beyond 2f1. Object is beyond 2f1, not 2f2, 2f1. Now look at this statement. U is greater than 2f1. What is U? U represents the object distance. Okay. So from here to here, optical center, this is U. Now you can see this U, and what is 2f1? From here to here is 2f1. 2f1 or say 2f. Now you can see this U, which is the distance from the optical center and the object. This U is greater than twice the focal length. This U is greater than 2f, because you can see 2f is only this much and U is from here to here. That is why I've written U is greater than 2f. I hope you understood what when I say U is greater than 2f, what do I understand? What do I mean by that? That the object distance is greater than the twice the focal length. Now, for this, how will I draw the ray diagram? That is the first concept. That is the first understanding. See, after this, whatever the ray diagrams are there, you have to just follow two rules. Optical center and F2. I will use only these two. I will not use F1. Okay, you can use F1, but generally no one uses. I'll use O and F2. How will I do it? The first ray starts from the head and passes through the optical center. And how it is like this? It passes through the optical center, something like this. So we know any ray which is passing through the optical center, how it will pass? It will pass undeviated. So it will pass straight. The second one is what? It has to pass through F2. Do you remember the second rule? The second rule says what? If the ray has to pass through F2, then the ray has to be parallel to the principal axis. So this ray has to be parallel to the principal axis. You can see this ray is parallel to the principal axis. This ray is parallel to the principal axis. Now this ray, which is parallel to the principal axis, after reflection, what will happen? It will pass through the second focus. It will pass through the, wait. It will pass through the second focus like this. Now, since I am doing a little bit of freehand, so you have to just adjust over here that my second focus 2f2 is over here. Suppose 2f2 is over here. Now the two rays happens to intersect at this point, and at the point where they intersect, this is the point where the image is going to get formed. So the image will formed over here. Now what we know about this image? The first thing that we know about this image is that this image is formed by the actual intersection of rays. You can see these are actual rays. So it will be what? It will be a real image. Second thing what we happen to notice. The second thing what we notice is that all the real images are all inverted. Okay, inverted. Like you can see, this is straight, this is inverted. So the image is inverted. The third, what we come to know is that the size. What we came to see is that, okay, over here it is looking big in size because I have not taken the actual measurements. I've just, this is not the straight lines, but actually this is much smaller than this object. This object over here is bigger in size, and this image is actually smaller in size. Although it is not looking, because I have drawn it freehand, so this is actually smaller in size. So I can say what? It is diminished. Okay, it is diminished. I'm again saying it is not looking in this ray diagram because I have done it freehand. If you see your book, or you tried by yourself by using a pencil and a scale and draw the ray diagram taking the equal distances, you will see this image will be smaller in size. And the fourth thing that we come to know, where the image is getting formed. The image is getting formed between F2 and 2F2. So between F2 and 2F2, the image is getting formed. And what I need to add? Between F2 and F2 on the other side. So just add on the other side. So you just have to add the word on the other side because object is on the left hand side and image is on the right hand side. So I hope these three ray diagrams are clear to you. I'm again saying, please check this diagram in your book. Okay, this image will be smaller in size. This image will be smaller in size because I have done it freehand. It is not looking like that. So I hope you understood the first three ray diagrams. We'll continue the other ray diagrams in other classes. In the other class, you have to keep the video short till half an hour like that. I hope you understood this, the ray diagrams concept, the first three. Anyways, follow me on the next video where I will explain the other three ray diagrams. Till then, practice the diagrams, and yes, you can press the like button if you understood this concept. Okay, bye, take care.